I'm very good in marketing myself, but you still have to think about yourself as a product. No matter you're a diamond, okay, you are a stone, or any kind of thing, but you have to sell yourself. Okay, so like you have to sell the product yourself. So think about that. No matter what kind of product you have to sell, if you are the salesperson, if you are the salesman, no matter what kind of product you have to think about how to sell it. Okay, so as I mentioned, no matter you're a diamond, you're a stone, or any kind of things, they still think about that. Try to find a unique place, or try to find a unique characteristics of yourself, right? So last time we say something about that. You have to stand out from the crowd. Okay, employee actually got hundreds of thousand applicants, but how can you stand out? So you have to include some interesting and unique information that people attract their eyeball, right? So attract their eyeball. So, okay, and try your best to make a first impression. Try to wow somebody, no matter it's employers or HR managers. Okay, so try to wow somebody. Try to amaze the employers. Okay, and if you cannot stand out, there is no chance to explain if you do not get an interview. So I think this is the why we keep saying that resume is a pretty important tool. That you have to prepare in advance. It's not like, oh, I want to I would like to apply for a job and I just prepare my resume days before. That's just impossible. All right, you still have to prepare in advance. Okay, it takes time, right? So, the better resume, image exercise. Okay, so image, that if you are an HR manager, when you are reviewing tons of resume from entry level, assume when you graduate from, no matter graduate from a college or graduate from master degree, most of the time you got your when you apply for your job is try to find the entry level position. Okay, so what would cause you to throw resume into a garbage or very list into no pile? Okay, so think about when you are HR manager. Remember last time I showed you a bad example of a resume, one of the bad example of the resume, right? Still remember that? 还记得我们上次做了什么吗？课堂上的事情。Okay, last time I asked you to circle something that you don't feel like it's a good point. You don't feel something is bad or is bad quality. So last time we discussed about this one, right? So you can tell what is bad. Okay, so first of all, if you are a manager, first thing, try to find if you see something that is spelling or some mistakes or some error, especially it's a spelling error. It's easy to find out by yourself. Even you can use Word or Office, like the word processor, to help you to find out any kind of spelling errors. If you still have some spelling error, then we suspect that you are not really reliable. Alright, so make sure there's no spelling error. Okay, and difficult to read. if you didn't organize pretty well, sometimes you put a lot of like a pretty long paragraph or pretty long sentence. It costs like it's just kind of not easy to read. So every each HR manager only spends like less than 30 seconds to really look at your resume in the first time. Okay, so if they find out it's not easy to read and you just waste my time to read it, so make sure that get the very good first impression. Okay, so think about that. They didn't like spend like 30 minutes or an hour to read your resume. No one would do that, right? Maybe now they didn't ask HR manager to do that. They ask AI to read your resume. So if it's not easy to read, then I think that your resume just throw into the garbage. Okay, that's pretty high possibility, right? And two then, okay, only 1 or 2 page, as I mentioned, that's only 1 or 2 page is enough. Okay, for maybe if you are only look for the entry level, maybe only 1 page is fine. Okay, but if you have a lot of like extra curriculum activity you participate during like the past 4 or 3 years, then you probably can add to like 2 pages, but no more than 2 pages. Okay, and unorganized. Okay, as we look at last time. These kind of things, like for those skills and interests, it's not organized. So you have to put some categorize those skills and interests separate. It's not like put everything together, like that. Those HR manager to do that for you. Okay, so you have to be organized. Okay, your resume should be organized. Okay, so keep those points in your mind when you are a HR manager. Think about that. So after you finish your resume writing, try to be like think about that. If you are HR manager, how do you see or how do you evaluate this resume? Okay, not only just submit to instructor, like submit to me, and then I have to criticize or evaluate for you. You have to evaluate by yourself in the very beginning. So I think that it's just I want to do the activity, but not now. But really think about that. Even though you are the second year of your college, okay, very soon you're gonna be the third year students, college student. So you have to think about what's your career plan. Do you have your any kind of a dream job in your mind? 现在自己有想要做的工作吗？未来还有2年到3年的时间。What's your dream job? What kind of job or what kind of position you would like to pursue? So do you have anything in your mind? Okay, if you know, then think about that. So you can start from what kind of subject do you like most in your college time? So during these 4 years, I think you will have your favorite subject. 在这4年大学这4年当中，到底有哪一个科目是你最喜欢的？那这些呢，会引发你想要去做什么样的工作 ？Okay, no matter what's your major, because most of the students tell me that, okay, I'm MIS major, I'm IT major, but I don't like to be a programmer, or I don't want to be a software engineer. What can I do? Okay, it's not like all of the master, all of the MIS students have to go to be a software engineer or any type of engineer. You still have a lot of things like you can do like a marketing or like a salesperson, or maybe you can be like you like to communicate with others, talk to others. So you could be like a project manager, not got your project manager in the very first position, but you probably can be assistant project project assistant, okay, or you can be a consultant. Okay, there's different kind of things, so different kind of career. You can try to path by yourself. So start from now, you can think about what kind of career you would like to do or would like to have in the future 3 to 5 years. Think about that. Okay, so think about it. What is your dream job? Okay, and any field that grab your attention. Even though you want to be an engineer, you can choose what kind of or which industry you want to join. For example, if you want to be an engineer, but I would like to I am more interested in some like a retailing. So I could find some job like an engineer position in retailing industry. You don't have to find out like a TSMC. You don't have to get into TSMC or Honghai, Foxconn. Okay, so there's a different kind of industry. You can think about that. Not only focus on those technology companies. All right. So try to think about that. What's your job, and your resume should tailor it in the way to bring you there. So I think the tips is pretty important. Try to tailor your resume. So that's word. I'm not sure if I really talk about this word, tailor. Can you check your dictionary? What's the meaning of tailor? 看一下这个，可以查一下这个字解释是什么？如果查一下你的字典，线上字典，这个字告诉你它是什么，它的意思是什么？裁缝。Okay, right. So tailor. So what does this mean? Your resume should be tailored in the way to bring you there. When we say 裁缝 ，what's a 裁缝？什么是裁缝？是不是让衣服跟你很合身，对不对？我们为什么要去找裁缝师？是不是希望那个衣服很 fit 你，而是很合身？所以呢，这个裁缝的意思呢，也就是有一种就是你希望把它打造成什么样的 fit，就是跟你想要去，比如说哪一家公司啊，或是哪一个职缺呢，是很 fit。好，所以 tailor 的意思呢，其实很有趣哈。虽然它是叫裁缝，但是常我们用在商业中，就是你怎么样去符合你想要的一个样子，把它打造成你想要的样子。Alright, so this is 裁缝。So if you see someone last name is tailor. If you see someone's name is tailor, then means their answer should be like work for tailor. Workers tailor 就是如果你看到有人的 last name 是 Taylor 的话，不是 Taylor Swift。Taylor Swift 是 Taylor 是 first name，Swift 才是 last name。所以他的姓氏如果是 Taylor 的话，有可能他的祖先啊就是这种裁缝师。过去啊，很多外国人的姓氏很有趣哦，大家都听过，像什么 Smith 这 这种就是过去他们的祖先有可能就是打铁的，类似这样子，所以他们的 last name 是从他们的职业来的。Okay, so make sure like it's not try to create a resume for all of the job. Okay, so try to make each resume unique, right? So think about that. What's your dream job? Okay? Then, how do you prepare? So from the last 1 or 2 weeks, I asked you to do some exercise and some the assignment. Try to prepare those steps. Okay, so first of all, so there will be 10 steps. First of all, gather relevant information and pick the best resume formats. Okay, we will talk about later. Add your contact information. Write a resume summary, make the work history section. So from the assignment, I think that I try to make you to think about the step 5 and 6 and 5 to I think it's a 5 to 9 section. Okay, and list your education. Just try to list your education beyond your high school. It will be fine. Okay, don't go to like elementary school or kindergarten. Okay, so last time I tell you that one of my students actually submits their resume and includes their kindergarten. And then I asked you why you include everything. So he told me that, okay, I would like to show you that I would like to study or complete my education on the same road in Taipei, in New Taipei City. Right, last time I mentioned that. So it's probably try to catch your eyeball or try to attract your interest in, because he has some story inside. But actually, when you really want to list your education, just list the thing beyond your high school, it will be fine. Okay, and add relevant certification. So you probably get some certification from from past or from your high school or from university. So list some relevant certification. Right. And if you include or some optional session, but I think it's this, for example, like honors or volunteer works. Okay. And the final, I think that is the critical things. It's like proofread the final product. Proofread your final resume. Remember that what the HR really care about. Spelling errors. So think about that. There should be no spelling errors. So you have to proofread your final product. Alright? So how do you get your the relevant information? So from your academic and from your job, from your community engagement, or your other potential things. Okay, so from academic, degrees and certificate. So you can just make a list for your for example your education or what kind of certificate you have. So remember that. Remember that I told you to prepare something like what kind of project you did, like for the past 2 years, right? So you have to list what kind of which course you took, and what's the topic of your project, and what's your role, and what's your contribution. Alright, so you have to list and think about what's your contribution and what kind of skills you got or you have learned from those the projects. Okay. Okay, and the key outcomes or what you learned from the project. I think that you have to recall to your memory, try to recall to yourself, like go back to the situation, all right? And list your 3 experiences. Okay, so remember last time. If you forget what you wrote, you still can check your assignment box, right? You can look at what you have at that time. Okay, so I think these things like what's your responsibility and what's your skills is the most important things. You have to think about that, right? And what is your skills and the tools you can use? Okay, so the first, hard skill, or we can say technical skills. If you are not really understand what is hard skill, then you can think about that. What's your technical skills? Okay, so any kind of software you can use, or any programmers that you can use, okay? And soft skill is most related to your teamwork, your communication, or collaboration. Some kind of think about that, okay? And any certificate in language or other ability that you want the employers knows, all right? So I think I try to that you get into that situation. Try to think about what you did in the previous 2 years. Okay, so this not only for now. So you have to keep updates, like your resume. So from now, you create your first resume. But like every 3 months or every 6 months, you have to update your resume. Right. So I just suggest you to do that. All right. So, and also, what kind of job you did before? It's not only probably you say I don't have any kind of job experience, but if you have any kind of like join the on-campus job or on-campus like a part-time job, either on campus or off campus will be fine. Or you do some graduate system, like for example like a class assistant, then you still can mention that. It's not really need a full-time job. Okay, part-time job will be fine, or just to be an assistant, like a professor's assistant, then you still can mention that. Okay, or someone will do some like a summer vacation job, like to do some intern or some work during your summer vacation. You still can mention that, even though it's not really related to your dream job, but still you can tell someone like even you are going to even you work as a clerk at like convenience store, then still what you learned from the job. 所以这个 job 不光只是大家认为的，就是什么需要有好像是一定要在什么样的公司里面上班啊，或者是跟你未来真的想做的有直接的关系。就是如果没有的话，就是不管是在学校内啊，在学校外，或者是你暑期的打工，那或者是当老师的什么 TA 呀，或者是助理呀，这些他都可以写上去。最主要大家希望是知道你在这个 job 里面能够就是获得了什么，或者是学了什么。那未来如果你加入我们的公司的话，这些能力到底怎么样去 fit 我们？好，是不是可以跟我们的公司的理念相符合 ？So, and also the community engagement. Okay, so what kind of the project or presentation you did, or now someone would like to join some competition. Okay, you participate in different kind of participation. So just a list of different kind of participation. Try to make your record like more complicated, more completed. Okay. 所以，如果你觉得你是想要走比较是为了想要申请学校，或者是想要让大家知道说你有一些合作的一些经验的话，你比如说你参加任何的活动啊，或者参加任何的竞赛，你都可以把它写下来。But still, you have to think about it. What's your contribution during the competition or during those projects? Okay, or have you have any experience to study abroad? Okay, even though it's just an exchange, then you can mention that. 所以如果是有什么出国经验或者是有交换的经验啊，我也很鼓励大家哈。所以that's why I always encourage students, if possible, you can go to an exchange program, if possible. Okay. It's not just go study abroad. It's just a training. It's just experience for yourself to know what others did, or what other some students like you what they did in other country. So how they perform during the class, or how they have some discussion for their teamwork or their assignment, alright? 所以基本上我也是其实非常的鼓励学生啊，就是有机会，真的学校其实有很多的交换的机会，你们可以尝试哈，就是在一些经济状况或者是经济状况或家长的允许之下，其实这是一个非常好的训练，让你自己出国在一个环境里面，它训练不是只有出去读书，就是你要怎么样独立生活。Those life is quite different from when you were in Taiwan, because at that time, people all around you and all of the environment that you are not familiar with. So you have to communicate, or you have to actively communicate with others. Okay, so I really encourage you, if you have chance, just go study abroad or go to any a semester exchange program. Okay, and other credential. Okay, so you can just it's not really related to your job, but for example, your personal interests, okay, or for your portfolio, okay. All right, and then the second part will be pick the format. Okay, usually we have the two different kind of formats. The first one, I think that the most people use is chronological, 就是那个按照时间顺序的去排列的，就是按照时间顺序排列的。So I think that your name, your contact information will be on the top of your resume. Definitely, you have to show your contact information on the very top, or the main section. Okay, and then you probably need to summarize your professional things, but I think for the entry levels probably don't have any professional summary. So I will teach you, just try to write objective instead of professional summary. Okay, and that's puts your education or work experience into your resume. Okay, and the other format is a functional. So I think based on my experience to read the different to see the different kind of resume, I feel like most of students like this format, because I receive a different kind of resume, but most of students like to use this functional. But but that's okay. Each kind of either format should be fine. Just try to make your strengths to be enlarged, right? 就是让你自己的，就是不管是哪一种都可以，但是就是让你自己跟别人不一样，就是放大你自己的特点就可以了。好 ，OK. So, but this functional actually format actually they have shows the photos, but usually we don't put photos when you apply for like a foreign company. 所以如果你是在台湾求职的话 ，if you apply the position within Taiwan, company will ask you to put photos. But if you apply for the job overseas, you don't have to put your photos, as I mentioned. 好，所以这是大概文化习惯的问题。